Hey guys, it's I here doing a full review of the starting 11 for the English team of the season. Now it's just been released. I think it was either last night or today, like in the early hours of today. So I'm going to start off with the goalkeeper. Now Peter Cech. To be honest, I was hopefully coming from a United fan. I was kind of expecting De Gea to get team of the season goalkeeper, and I think he was voted BPL team of the season goalkeeper. So he was actually voted the best goalkeeper in real life by the BPL. So I was kind of expecting, and I think a lot of people were also expecting De Gea to be at least in the subs for the team of the season. I mean, that's pretty weird that Begovic, or whatever his name is, got goalkeeper, because I don't think he's done like a lot of significant things this season. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't really done a lot of things, whilst De Gea, he's had an outstanding season. He's probably had one of the best seasons that he'll ever have. So I was just kind of shocked when De Gea wasn't even in the starting lineup or even the subs. I mean, I was kind of hoping that De Gea would be the starting 11 goalkeeper, and Cech would be at least a sub goalkeeper, or something like Joe Hart would be the sub goalkeeper, because him and De Gea and Joe Hart, to be honest, had really good seasons. Now I'm going to start with Vertonghen as well. So centre back Vertonghen, he's had an outstanding season. I mean, him and Bale have had such a good season at Tottenham, and I hope that they both stay, because my brother's a Tottenham supporter. So I hope they both stay, and I'll see how big an impact they do on the future of Tottenham for next season. So Ferdinand, he's getting old, and fair enough. He did complain about his pace at halfway through the season. I think he said to Fifa's Twitter that he's not that slow, but his pace is 68, so that's pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen a team, like a video review of the full team in general, but from what I've heard is that if you play with like a full team of the season, team of the week, team of the year, and a perfect example is KSI when he does his pink slips. So I've heard that when you do play like a full team of the season team, that you actually give the other team a handicap, which kind of sucks. So if they've done like a $5,000 team, then it's really not that fair if they've done like, and you've done like the full team of the season, which cost a couple million, maybe done a $5,000 team. It gives them a massive advantage, even though they haven't put the time and effort in that you have to get all these players. So I'm going to right back. I forgot his name. Oh my god. What's his name? I forgot him. I will just call him Gary. Now, Gary, I haven't really seen him do a lot of an impact to Man City, but Gary must have had a good season if he's been put in team of the season. But I was hoping that Raphael should have been right back, because Raphael, oh my god, he's had such a good season. But if they put Raphael in, then this team would be a more or less Man United team of the season, because from my point of view, they would have had De Gea, Ferdinand, Raphael, Carrick and Van Persie in team of the season. But to be honest, these players have deserved it. I'm not being biased towards the club I support, because I'm a Dortmund and Man United supporter, if that works. Let me know if you can, or if you think it's right if you can support two clubs. I mean, Man United's at my heart, but at the moment I kind of support Borussia Dortmund, because they've had an outstanding season, and I'm not a Glory supporter. I'll put that. I've never been a Glory supporter, and I never will. But I think personally, Raphael should have had right back team of the season, because he deserves it. He's had an outstanding season, and I hope that his little brother, who is a left back, turns out like him, or I think it's his like little twin brother, but I hope he turns out like Raphael, because he's had an amazing season. So left back Leighton Baines, from what I've heard, I don't really follow Everton a lot, but from what I've heard, he's had an outstanding season as well. Obviously, if he'd been chosen for team of the season, I believe halfway through, I think there was a Everton fan that was diagnosed with cancer, and he went and handed the game's ticket, because the fan had ordered tickets, and Leighton Baines had actually gone to the person's doorstep and handed them the ticket, which he's a really good guy. So I think he also really deserved the team of the season, because he's a good guy. But to be honest, that won't really affect whether he deserves it or not, but I think he's deserved it, because he's had an outstanding season for Everton. Now now Bale, oh my god, he has carried Tottenham on his back like RVP has carried United, but 10 times worse. Without Bale, Tottenham don't really have a lot of players apart from Lloris, Vertonghen, Walker, and a couple other players. But Bale, he's the outstanding player. If you think Tottenham, you think Bale, because he has probably carried Tottenham. And if he leaves, because I believe Tottenham have not got the championship spot, but I think it was Bale was going to stay if Tottenham did get the Champions League spot, but they didn't, or they aren't expected to. So it would probably seem most likely that Bale leaves Tottenham, but I don't think he should leave because he's had a good season and I think he's perfect for Tottenham. Now, Mata, centre attacking mid, but in the centre mid formation, I believe he set up a goal on to help Chelsea win the Europa League. But Mata, he has had his on and offs this season. I believe that there should have been someone else. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but there should have been another player that should have been centre mid. But overall, he must have had an amazing season. But I'm guessing someone like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's had a good season. Oh, I don't know. I mean, but Mata, he's had a good season, but I think there are others that could have been better. For instance, Santi Cazorla, who was in the sub bench for Team of the Season, but I think they could have swapped it round. But apart from that, I think he's having a good season, and he probably deserves to be in the Team of the Season. Now I move on to Michael Carrick. Now, Man United have described him as Carrick is a heartbeat of the club. Now, if a team that you play for describes you as the heartbeat of the club, then you're obviously going to get some sort of recognition. Not even the team recognition, but you're obviously going to get recognition outside of the club. Now, he's an overall good player, but I believe when he first joined United that he got injured for quite a while. I think it was a couple of months. Now, that really set him back, and it didn't let him use his full potential as a football player. But bearing in mind that he did get injured for a while, and I think it was quite a serious injury, he still managed to become a good player, and he's going to be one of those players that will be remembered as Man United as one of the best. So at right mid, we move on to Eden Hazard, the Belgian left mid. I think he plays on the left wing, but he must have had, or because of the clash with Bale and Hazard, they must have decided to put Hazard at right mid instead of left mid, which is probably a good idea because there would be uproar if they left Bale out of the team this season and they put Hazard in instead, or vice versa. Now, apart from Hazard kicking that ball boy, I think he has had a pretty good season now. He has had his up and downs, i.e. when he kicked that ball boy. I think he was 16, and if he was if he was a minor, I think he would have had a little bit of trouble with the police for beating up a minor. But apart from that, he has scored some pretty good goals for Chelsea, and he's going to be one of those players that will be definitely remembered as Chelsea as one of the best. So I do think Hazard does deserve to be in the team of the season because he's had an amazing season, and I hope that his little brother, it's like Igor Hazard, who I think is still in the Belgium league or like Swedish league, I do hope that he turns out like Eden because he is such a good player, and he is one of those outstanding players at Chelsea at the moment. So right striker, we move to Van Persie, and now he has had an outstanding season for United, and there are a lot of upset Arsenal fans, especially my year at school, who had a go at me for Van Persie to move to Man United, especially KSI did after he quick sold him. I mean, that's just called being a bad sport. I mean, it's like when Cristiano Ronaldo, probably the best player that's ever played at Manchester United, moved to Real Madrid. People weren't shouting at him. People weren't having a go at other Real Madrid supporters. They weren't like burning T-shirts of him. They were framing shirts of him, praising him because he was such a good player at Man United that you can't think about the future of him, how he's left and sort of betrayed you, but he hasn't. There's probably no intention of him doing that, but you've got to think of the hits, how he's carried the club for Arsenal, I'm guessing. I mean, he had a good season, but he said that there's a little boy crying out for him to move to United, and he wanted to win trophies. He won his first BPL trophy at his first season of United, and I think it was Kagawa did as well at Dortmund, who won. No, wait, it wasn't Kagawa, it was someone else. Someone they signed this season also won their first BPL title at Manchester United. So I do think Van Persie definitely deserves the team of the season spot, and if he didn't get it, I would be extremely upset with VA, and I'm sure a lot of people as well. People who aren't Manchester United supporters would as well, because he does deserve it. You can't deny that he doesn't deserve it because he has scored some absolutely amazing goals. And if you're saying he doesn't deserve it, then you're kind of a bit jealous of United and of him. Now for the final starting 11 player is Luis Suarez. Now he's such a weird player, and he has given himself the reputation that he's a retard. I mean, that's the nicest way to put it. He is weird, but he is such a good he is such a good player. But him biting Abramovich, I mean, what the hell was he thinking? He's such a good player, and he's just wrecking his career, because I believe he wants to leave Liverpool. But if he leaves Liverpool, then other clubs that sign him, I think it was Dortmund, had interest in him, but that was all speculation. But if a club sign him, then it's going to give that club a massive reputation, because they have Luis Suarez. Now, because he's a good player, I mean, I'll happily admit that he is a good player, and he does deserve the spot in team of the season. But it's just, I don't like him because he's so aggressive, he's so weird, biting people. He's a racist, he bites people. I mean, he's just weird, and he gives himself a bad reputation, but he's such a good player that if he didn't give himself a bad reputation, then he would be probably one of my favourite players, and I'm not even a Liverpool supporter. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like rating, and I'll see you guys in a bit. So yeah, bye.